he is back out of the bathroom. He took forever. So don't mind him. He take like freaking 25, 30 minutes.
Look, I got stomach problems, man.
But we are back. He is working on schoolwork currently.
Which I don't want to do, by the way.
But he has to do.
Yeah, I have to do it. You know it's gonna be reading out loud, right?
Yeah.
What can you do all this video?
Ain't copyright nothing. It ain't gonna be too loud. I guess so.
When?
Anyway, he's about to start this, so if y'all hear a little talking, then it's just the computer, the teacher, or whatever. So. I was gonna say, because you're not about to get out on my ranch. Okay.
An objective claim has this characteristic. Whether it is true or false is independent of whether you or anyone else thinks it is true or false. There is life on Mars is thus an objective claim, because whether or not life exists there doesn't depend on whether you or anyone else thinks it does. If you or anyone else suddenly believes there is life on Mars, that doesn't mean that suddenly there would be life on Mars. Likewise, God exists is an objective claim because whether it is true doesn't depend on what you or anyone else thinks. Although objective claims are either true or false, we may not know which a given claim is. Portland, Oregon, is closer to the North Pole than to the equator is true. Portland, Oregon, is closer to the equator than to the North Pole is false. More stamp collectors live in Portland, Oregon, than in Portland, Maine is an objective claim whose truth or falsity is not known, at least not by us. Not every declarative sentence expresses an objective claim, of course. Bruno Mars has swag is not objective, for it lacks the characteristic mentioned previously. That is, whether or not someone has swag does depend on whether you think he does. If nobody thinks Bruno Mars has swag, then he doesn't. If Parker thinks he does and Moore doesn't, you will say that Parker and Moore are each entitled to their opinions. Whether someone has swag is in the eyes of the...
Yeah, they talking about Bruno Mars having swag. Comment down below if y'all think Bruno Mars has swag or not.
No.
Beholder. Judgments like Bruno Mars has swag are subjective. Whether a subjective judgment is true or false is not independent of whether you think it is true or false. On the contrary, a subjective judgment about something is true if you think it is true. Examples of subjective claims would be judgments of taste, such as rice vinegar is too sweet. Is rice vinegar too sweet? It depends on what you think. Some kinds of comparisons also are subjective. Is snowboarding more fun than skiing? Again, it depends on what you think, and there is no further truth to consider. However, many statements contain both objective and non-objective elements, as in somebody stole our nifty concrete lawn duck. Whether the lawn duck is concrete is an objective question. Whether it is our lawn duck is an objective question. And whether it was stolen is an objective question. But whether the stolen concrete lawn duck is nifty is a subjective question.
What the fuck are these examples, bro?
If you think a subjective judgment is true, you can't be mistaken. If Parker thinks that the tomato he is eating tastes great, his judgment this tastes great, as made by him, cannot be incorrect. If Parker says, this tomato tastes great but I might be wrong about that, we wouldn't understand him. Let's take an extreme case.
Okay, so we're about to pause on this for a second because there's a lot to read on here.
There's more than a lot.
So he really has to get an understanding for his quizzes and tests. So we're gonna get back with y'all on the next video that we decide to do, or you guys give us some ideas or thoughts of videos or anything you guys want to see see. And we will be back in the next video. What they say?
Peace.
Peace.
Like.